אוקיי. אז אנחנו מדברים בשיעור הזה על הקונספט של תיקון. Sorry, we're talking English. Forgot. So in this lesson, we're talking about the concept of Tikkun. Tikkun is something that is happening on an individual level, but as well on a collective level. And in English, the right word for it will be to rectify. Rectify.
Yeah, kind of.
Sorry, rectify.
Yeah, rectifying.
Yeah, rectify is kind of like zikuk. לזקק משהו. זיכוך וזיקוק as well. Because it's more than like tikkun. In Hebrew, it could be like fixing or correcting, which is also a right translation. But if we want to be accurate about this translation, to rectify is to make something like complete and more spiritual. Like it's less of תיקון זה כמו לתקן שירותים, כיור. זה קצת יותר...
התקנה also, same root in Hebrew, להתקין משהו, it's like to fix, but not because it's broken, but it will become complete. When I'm in התקנה, it's like installing in English. When I'm installing a software on a hardware, they become complete, they become one. The software can run on the hardware. So when we talk about tikkun in the spiritual world, it's when the spirit will ride or will be will rule the matter, basically. And the rectification is basically we talked about how the universe was created, right? The creator, the creation, the vessel, we were one vessel, and the light fulfilled the vessel. It was one soul. And then was the process of, do you remember the name of that process? What happened then?
He's talking about the process in which we were just one soul in the beginning, and then there was the desire
Idan
to
raise
separate.
the hand. You don't need to raise the hand, Idan. You can just unmute and talk.
So it was the broken of the vessels?
Exactly. So שבירת הכלים is the process of separation where the souls separated themselves from the divine light.
And
then what happened though?
From that moment, we are kind of living now in this broken reality when we have different vessels. We as human beings, we are a vessel. We go through a process to fix ourselves, do the tikkun. As humanity, we do it, as you said, it's on a personal level, but also on a global level. And eventually, we as one broken soul, we want to come together and have this feeling again after, but this time from a conscious choice, from a free choice in a way. Now, yep. Kabbalah is teaching us that you please continue. I jumped into your explanation.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say in general what is tikkun so you can get more specific. Basically, in our life, if we take it to, our daily life, it's the unique challenges that we face in our lives. So for some people, it could be like, it's more challenging to be around people and we have social anxiety. So we know that if it's challenging for us and it's something that goes on and is continuous in our life, that our tikkun is something to do with that. Or if we're people-pleasing and it's hard for us to put boundaries and say no and really understand what we want, then we know that our tikkun is somewhere in those realms. And Tikkun Kabbalah is teaching us is something that can go on for, it's not like one lifetime. Kabbalah is teaching us about reincarnation, and the Tikkun is something we carry even for several lifetimes under the same theme. Because until we learn the lesson, we need to go to school again and again and again and again. And that is the individual Tikkun. But besides the individual Tikkun, there is the bigger Tikkun that is the Tikkun of the human beings in general. And that Tikkun is happening in the heart. And Dor can explain us why it's happening in the heart.
Yeah, not on the individual level, basically, but yeah, Kabbalah is teaching us that the heart is where our desires exist. You know, there's a sentence in Hebrew from the Zohar, "Enaim ro'od velev choshek." It's like we see something, then with the eyes, and then the heart desires that. So all of the spiritual work that we do around is transforming and correcting that heart desire. Why we should correct it? Like why we should, what's the purpose of rectifying it? What's the problem? Basically, as we learned, the Creator created this world for us as vessels to give us pleasure. That's the essence. מטרת הבריאה היא להיטיב לנבראים. So we were created as vessels with the desire to receive. Again, that one of the principles that we talked about already. The essence of a vessel is to receive. So we can actually contain all the abundance that the Creator wanted to share. And the level of desire that to be fulfilled, basically, it's holds and determines how much pleasure we will get. So if we desire a lot, we'll get more. So eventually we actually need to increase the desire in order to receive the amount of light that the Creator wants to share with us. So for example, if we give food to a very hungry person, they will enjoy it deeply. And as much as we really want something, we will actually enjoy more, and and that's the purpose of the creation. So what's the problem? Also, as spiritual vessels, we contain the divine light. So same as food, no desires, no point for a vessel. So what's the problem, basically?
I also want to add as well that desire is something that, if we think about the word, maybe it feels like something that is more about sexuality, but we are talking about desire that is not like a sexual urge, that is just ratzon in Hebrew. It means like wanting something deeply. And also sometimes it can be considered like a negative thing in society. When someone really wants something, then, you know, we can think, this person is selfish, this person is egoistic, and this person only wants to be like indulging in his own, adventures, and doesn't care about anyone, which is possible as well to be on this level. But if we are working with the desire correctly, then it's actually our way to receive more and more light. So the desire is defined as deficiency. It's like hunger. Hungry person is lacking food. A lonely person is lacking love. But deficiency is a gateway, because it creates a gap. And that gap, in that space, something can be poured into, and that is the divine light.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead, Dor.
And there's a saying in Zohar as well, הפרה רוצה להניק יותר משהעגל רוצה לינוק. The cow wants to feed more than the calf wants to suck, to drink milk. So basically,
I think you say sak as well. Like sak is a linok. It's a
yeah.
translation that it's okay.
Basically, the creator wants to share the light more than what we actually want to receive it sometimes. The abundance of light constantly flowing to us. It's about us to actually ask for it, receive it, rectify it in the way we can actually properly build our vessel and contain the light eventually. But it's not just about receiving the light, right? That's the purpose, right? But we learned that there is some catch here, and the heart, how the heart is related to that, because it doesn't end there, right? The vessel contained all the light. We were one soul, but we didn't want it. We felt as one soul. Felt shame, the bed of shame story, and the broken on the vessel. So again, we don't want to repeat that story. How we can actually receive it. So as the physical heart is the center of the body that gives like liveness to the rest of the organs, and the spirit heart, the spiritual heart, is the center of all qualities, the spiritual qualities or mental qualities. And it's important to understand that the heart is basically, so it appears also in the writing for the first time in the Bible, the biblical story, in Noah ark, Tevat Noach.
The flood.
Yeah, the flood, sorry. It says, Yetzer lev adam ra mineuav, the desire of the heart of a human, of man, is evil since its youth. But it's not evil, sorry, it's bad. The word ra in Hebrew. So when
anyone remembers, I think we talked about it. If anyone can remind us, what is exactly the meaning of the word ra in Hebrew? Its initials.
לא הבנתי את השאלה.
So we have the word.
We said that Yetzer lev adam ra mineuav. The desire of the heart of man is bad from his youth. So, and it's a bit controversial. Why bad? Like, so there's a Kabbalistic meaning for the word bad, the word ra in Hebrew. Do you remember what is it?
So ra is
רצון עצמי, self will or self desire, או רצון של עצמו, a desire for himself only. So what we understand from that, basically, that from our youth, the desire, we have a desire, which is egoistic desires. As babies, we want love, we want warmth, we want food. We don't care about others. You know, like babies, when they want something, they scream, I just want that. And that's fine. That's part of the process. But at some point in our life, to rectify the situation as human being, we need to transform. So our heart will not want just for ourselves only, and that's what means ra, but for others as well, to influence, to create, to share, to...
By the way, that's also the meaning of bar mitzvah, because in bar mitzvah, a person reached to a point that now they can also be not purely egoistic. So the ceremony, like the transformation that a person goes through in bar mitzvah is the ability to care for others as well, and to be like a man in that way is gever in Hebrew, which is like ligvor, to overcome the desires for oneself. and have desire to influence others as well. Sorry,
Exactly. Thank you for that. And that's also the purpose of ואהבת לרעך כמוך, which some say it's like the whole Torah, the whole knowledge on one leg, in one sentence. It's basically that ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Love others as
and you
love yourself, as you love yourself. And basically, we're talking about the tikkun here. The essence of the correction, what we actually rectify, is the will to receive for ourselves only. So we talked about the light and the vessel. So the proper connection between two of them is that the light and the vessel the light fulfill the vessel. But there's a problem here. When the vessel wants to receive only, it's exactly the opposite of the light. Their essences contradict. And we learned that there's a law of attraction, that how we reveal light in our life, we need to be like the light. So how this thing works? Basically, if we want something, there's a desire, we pull the light, we bring the light. But at that moment, if the light, it happens automatically, realize that the heart that pulls him, the vessel wants for himself only, act from, call the light from an egoistic point of view. I want that for myself. The light comes and goes. It's like kind by. It's like the bank of Satan that we said. And then the vessel remains empty. There's a sentence in the Zohar said, "En ani vehu יכולים לדור במדור אחד." I and the other cannot live in the same place. Basically, there's a secret around it. It sounds too simple and weird in English, but anyway. So if a person wants to create a real connection between himself to himself, between himself to others, or eventually between ourselves and the light, we need that the nature of the vessel will be the same as the light. We need the
like
vessel,
a radio station.
Yeah, we need to match the frequency. We need that the vessel that pulls the light will also have the intention of sharing, of make the shivui tzura. The shivui tzura in English, equal of the shape of the vessel.
Equal
basically.
form.
Equal form. How are we going to do it? We need to change this desire of the heart to receive for ourselves only into a desire to receive in order to give, to influence. And in everything, you know, and then the light will not go away every time we pull it. So I can basically eat in order for myself to be like fulfilled from the food, or I can eat in order to, so I can actually have the energy to walk or to help at the house, or just to make the person who make the food happy, you know? And when I eat from that consciousness, from that intention, the feeling after I eat is different. And you probably know that if you actually notice that. If you just, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat that, and I'm eating for myself and only for my own pleasure, I usually like feel no energy, feel heavy sometimes. But if I like bring consciousness, right intention, and it's never like the external outcome, like no one can actually tell besides of myself why I'm doing that, but my feeling in my body will feel different eventually. It can be the same act, but different intention. So, and in that way, we basically change the ratzon letzinor. the desire to have tzינור in English, basically a
Tube.
not a tube, yeah. So if we actually look at the letters, רצון, it's desire. tzינור, it's a tube. Basically, tube is also a weird word, but it's a structure that has two open sides and something can go through.
Because if it's not a tube, if it's just ratzon, so the shape of ratzon is like this. It's like this is the vessel, like a cup, and then light comes in, okay, fills the vessel. Now I have a full cup, and I drink that cup. But after I drink that cup, there's nothing more. There's nothing more. The cup is empty, and now I need to fill it again and again and again and again. But if I manage to somehow transform this cup into a tube, to transform the shape, then what happens? Light comes in, light goes through the tube, and light comes out to the world. So it means everyone is enjoying. The light is enjoying because it can give more of itself, and there is an opening that it can share itself more and more, and that's the only desire of the light. The person that has the tube inside of them and they build their vessel to be as a tube actually also enjoy, because now the light is constantly moving through them. Fill the cup. It's always moving through, so they become like a channel for the light, and it's not a constant emptiness fulfillment, and also the other people enjoy because they receive the light through the person that was able to transform its vessel into a shape of a tube. Does that make sense?
So in every action that we do, we have to be conscious and to feel like it's not just for me. Also, opportunity to give.
Exactly.
To influence others.
Yeah.
And we will learn that giving is not
to
always
influence
what
others, and also to look at yourself, to look at yourself as the manager of the light, but not as the owner of the light. So it's like I'm given the chance from the light to use it in order to, not to use it even, to להוליך את זה דרכי,
direct it.
To direct it and then spread it. But it's not mine. It's not my own. I don't take this energy and just, indulge in it, because I understand how spirituality works. So
think about it like water.
Also, for example, what is the personal rectifying?
Sorry, I have internet issues, so I think.
Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
So many times in Kabbalah, there's analogy of the divine light to water, usually in the direction when it comes from as a direct light from the infinite, from the creator into the vessel. At least in that direction, it's like water, like a waterfall, just flowing into us. And we will learn about all the sfirot, the energy centers that a vessel is built from, and how it's like in installation that the water will actually flow through all of the energy centers and will be manifested in the world. And yeah, that's one thing. But just an example of looking at the light as water, think about it when you put the water in a cup. After a day or two, a few days, it will, or even in nature, it becomes dirty. It collects some dirt, some dust, some dead bodies, and it's
מים עכורים.
מים עכורים. But if you think about a river, or if you put the water in a place that they actually always flow, they always remain alive. You see always like fresh water. So same with us as vessels. When we just are the end station for the water, it's מאחר אותנו. Basically, we stay empty, we become rotten, it becomes, the dirt comes, there's also like, and when we change our vessel in order to influence and we become like that tube that you know, the light always fresh. The body, the vessel eventually is more fresh, the environment is fresh, the energy is flowing. Eventually the vessel also extends its size because of the force that going through it. It has to become bigger eventually, and then more light comes in and it get even more extended. It can receive more, it wants more, but it shares more, and basically just this loop just create more light that eventually revealed in one's world and
I have
for
a
others.
question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm practicing Reiki, and in Reiki they teaching us also that we are vessels, and we basically asking to be a channel for healing source, and bring the energy not from us, from the universal healing energy or whatever it is. And then recently I start actually detaching the symbols, detaching Reiki in a way, and just trust the universe and do healing instead of, so instead of having the desire to be the tube or the channel, I'm just trusting the universe that whatever need to come is coming.
Okay, so what you are saying, if I understand correctly, is that wanting to be the tube is also a desire, and what you aspire to do is to clear desire completely and just be there, like be present, and then the light, if it wants to and it chooses, it goes through you. If I understand.
Yes, you understand it right. It's just I kind of like looking for what is the right thing to do in that aspect of like keep the Reiki symbols, keep the being the channel through the Reiki, or just practice something that is not attaching into asking even for the force to go through me. Is like just give the force instead of like, I don't know. It's just my approach.
It's interesting.
It's a good point. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I would just say that from Kabbalah perspective, there are different approaches also in the spiritual philosophy. Eventually, they're all the same, but when you hear different gurus, some will say, meditate all day, you know, just don't do any, be in the being, practice the being, which for some people it can feel like I feel like my internet is breaking.
Can you repeat? We didn't hear anything.
Yeah. Anyway, from what I know in Kabbalah, again, it's for each person, it's very different, and that's what we're going to talk about, the Tikkun. What is actually your calling to rectify, how you rectify your vessel. But eventually, you need to, Kabbalah said that in order to reveal the light is just want to share. So if you say to the light, like, I give you the opportunity to tell me what, you know, like you actually not being a vessel or a desire in that sense, maybe not, you know, that's your to ask, but in the light needs some desire to ask for it, to do something. So in that sense, saying I want to be a healer, or I want to be anything, or I want to do anything is actually great for the light to be revealed eventually. You build a vessel, that's it. You create a desire, you create a force that will pull the light. But between you and yourself, you can actually think what I actually want and why I want it, what I will do with it. So it's not just give. Kabbalah saying you need to receive, ask for it, ask for something, want something, but eventually think about how you will influence with that, how you will give to others with that. It doesn't have to be immediately. It can be like in 10 years, you know, I want to have this ability now, and in 10 years, I will be able to help that amount of people.
Yeah, and I also want to say it's not only that the light is like mitlabesh, is dwelling in the desire. The desire is kind of like the car is the desire, and the light comes in, and then they drive together and spread it all over. So not only that, but if you have some kind of talent, like you are talented in healing, like you have that ability to make people feel better, or you're talented in yoga and you can help people be flexible in their physical body, in their emotional body, in their spiritual body. So according to Kabbalah, if you don't do that, if you don't follow your talent, you're actually creating disharmony with the light, because you were granted the ability to do something in order to be the tube for the light. It's a way of the light to tell you, this is how you take energy from me and transform it into the world. And if you don't do that, it's selfish. So you have to have the desire. You need to have the desire, and you want to do it because you feel like, not because it's I want people to think I'm great and I want to be loved, but because you have a true desire to share the light through your talent. And it's okay. It's not selfish. It's actually what the light expects from you, according to the Zohar.
Yeah, and also I would add.
Eden?
Okay. I think the example of Reiki is very good. I also I do Reiki, and when we begin the session, first of all, you need to feel the light inside of you, to clean your channel, and then to put your intention. And this is the most important thing. You have your hands and you have your intention. So you ask for, again, it's not my energy and it's not my light. I receive the light from the universe, and then I'm just a tube to bring it to have my hands and my intention. And yes, it's true to ask for the light. And when you like completely synchronize with this, so it's there.
I also like, Eden, that you use the word intention, because it's beautiful, because the vessel, so for example, the desire that we have is the minus, right? It's the vessel. And the light will be the plus, because that's the infinite source of energy. So let's draw it like a sun, for example, and that's a plus. So in between them exists tension. So when you are in tension, when you set intention, you actually connect to this line that is connecting the desire and the light. That's like intention is that place of where they meet. You say what you want, like my desire is this and that, and my intention is to bring in healing and love for this person, and the light then hears that calling, and it creates the bridge between the vessel and the light, the tension.
They meet in the tension.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I just want to add to what you said before, Shira, is that you know, sometimes it's your calling to do something now. Sometimes it's actually not. Sometimes you will influence others by saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm putting the boundaries. I'm changing the direction or whatever. It's only you know. But what is important to remember that the ego, the Satan energy, the shadows, they are really good in pushing into our reactive nature and take the easy path, and it can seem like we are doing something from an elitistic, like we are not acting altruistic, sorry, place, but we actually act from the ego, and it's very tricky. And have ideally, like what we discussed in the last sessions, that the way to actually know that is to pause, not being reactive, not saying yes, not saying no, but just pause and ask the divine, send him the ball and let him the opportunity to send you back. Should I do that? Should I do that? I really want to know what is my direction, what I need to do now, what I need to do in general, and try to get the signs, that's kind of a practical advice on that. But yeah, is that kind of all these things kind of answer your question, or Idan?
Yes, in a way, yes. I still believe so I'm trying to be like, I am practicing the whole thing, I also acknowledging what Eden was saying about the right intention and the tools in a way, or the hands. So I do put my intention. I do always in Reiki, I believe it's such a bliss and powerful thing to have, and it's simple, It's just me trying to detach from symbols, trust more the universe, which is happening anyhow. It's just the way of, I've been taught Reiki is the Japanese way, and it's actually thinking maybe even to put the David Triangle symbol as a healing symbol, so I'm not attaching into the symbols, and it's in my practice, and I'm already doing it for a long time. So I trust the universe, and I trust that I am doing the right thing for what I am using my tools and what I have been gifted and gifted to other people. So I think I'm on the right path. It was an interesting thing because it happened to me recently to start detaching from the symbols and just let it be, and it's worked the same for me, and it's beautiful and it's magic. So I think I'm on the right path, and I'm pretty sure it's not an egoistic thing or coming from the ego. Is, I think, and I believe it's pretty divine, just to trust the universe in a way. And yeah, that's it. So thank you. Yeah, it's answering the question.
Beautiful. I'm very connected to what you said, like detaching, like taking something but then releasing it, and that's actually the rectifying, the purification is like the creation. We took the light as one vessel, but then we pushed it away. We need always during the processes attach and detach in order to purify ourselves eventually. So yeah, that's how I connect to it. And it's really beautiful.
It's exactly that. It's like the whole experience of life, of being alive. It's a dance with the light. It's just a dance. It's like one step here, one step there, until you find the right harmony between the two of you, until you understand how it works well, and it don't it's relationship with the light. That's the only thing that exists. There is no other relationship, because people that you meet and situations and everything that will happen in your life will be just representing the relationship with the light. So it's beautiful to look at it this way, and it seems like you're in Reiki from the right reasons.
Or not in Reiki. Oh, whatever.
Or just called to facilitate Reiki.
Okay, I said it will continue. I personally have 10 minutes, but I'm happy for you guys to stay here for more. Sorry for the rush.
Frozen.
Sorry, my internet is bad and I'll feed the cat. I just said that I have 10 minutes. I'm sorry. So we said that the correction, the rectification, the הפיכת הרצון לצינור, the tikkun is something that happened on the personal and on a global level, communal level, on a human level. And it's a long process. It's not just, that's it, I corrected it, I fixed that, all good. As Shira said, it can happen through a few lifetimes. There's reason why our souls choose to reincarnate to one family or an environment, Kabbalah said. And some of it can be rectified in even just a few years. Some of the rectification, the correction need to be only done in a few lifetimes. And there is a feeling when you get to the next step that, okay, I'm not the same person that I did. I took one layer of the shell of the klipot, right? Now you are in a new place. When you do a certain tikkun, you're a new person. You feel reality. You communicate with the spirit. You communicate with others, with yourself. You feel yourself and others in a different way. You appreciate life in a different way. Your energy feels different. It basically, every time you do a tikkun, it affects everything. And again, there's another step to go. Kabbalah said there are like 150 steps of tikkun that each soul needs to be done. There's like a geometrical explanation why 150 will not get to it. And yes, it's a long process and we can enjoy the process, but also we can do it sometimes in one moment. And it's all depend on the will of the desire. You know, sometimes we get into a point when we were too much in our ego or too much stuck in one pattern that we got into a situation when, you know, life is too heavy or something really bad happened. We interpret that as bad. But in that moment, we said, that's it, not enough. It's not happening anymore. We want to change it so much that in that moment, there is an opportunity to create a miracle.
Shortcut.
Yeah, no, it's not even a shortcut. Yeah. It's a jump. It's doing the whole way in one jump because of the tension.
It's quantum jump.
Yeah, because of the desire was so strong. That's why desire sometimes it's so important, even though it's like for myself only, it can feel like, but it's so strong that it creates a elastic jump to the other side so quickly. So that's how sometimes tikkun can be done even in one moment. We know that sometimes we see the killers or people in the court when they did something really bad, they put a kippah, a yarmulke, and kind of become religion. You know, like, yeah, sometimes it's just a persona, obviously, but sometimes when someone does something really bad, you realize that, fuck, and jump to the other side. Sorry, Idan, can you please send us the...
I also want to say about that jump. So what is the quantum jump that Doris is talking about? In Judaism and in Kabbalah, there is a sentence that הכל צפוי והרשות נתונה. And that means everything is predicted in advance, but there is still the ability to do something about it. So that's kind of like a contradiction. How is it possible that everything is already predicted. A huge cinema, the ones with like 10 different rooms, cinemas, and then you can, by doing by choosing something that you would normally don't choose, and getting out of the pattern in one time, that you just breathe and you pause and you say, you know what? No, I'm not going to react this way. Not anymore. I choose differently. In that moment, you actually left one cinema and you moved into a different movie. So the movie that you just left, if you would stay, it will happen in a storyline that is already written and everything is there. But you can choose to leave that movie and put yourself in a different cinema and then choose a different movie for yourself. So that is miracle. That is the definition of miracle. That is to do nes. Nes is also degel, which is a flag. And it means like that you're rising above. You like mitnoses.
We talked about it, I think, in the last session, right?
Ah, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Nes is also connected to Tikkun, because the Tikkun is where we need to do not the obvious, not the thing that we always do, and go in the places that are challenging for us, in the places that we have difficulties, and then do something different and bring the light into those places. That will rectify our vessel. It will make our vessel more of a tube shape and more in resonance frequency-wise with the light itself.
Exactly, and less selfish.
Less selfish, yeah. So we have a list of things that are examples for Tikkun. I'll send it on the chat. These are just examples. You don't have to use these, but if you want to, then use those. And then your exercise is to choose 3 of the things that you see on the list. And just try to see if there's some kind of a theme, if there's any connection between those things, and if that gives you any clue about your unique tikkun. For example, pride can go with fear of showing your true self and fear of commitment. Like these 3 things can go together. 3 things can go together, and then the question that needs to be asked is, what is the message? Like, what's the theme here trying to tell me? And it could be interesting to find out, to see what you find out doing that. And if you'd like, you can share it with us in the next lesson, or choose 3 things of your own, not from this list.
Yeah, this is just an examples, but yeah, we can also send it in the group, and yeah, to be easier, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
There are 2 topics that we didn't cover today. Sorry, I took off my camera because my internet is just very bad today. I'm not sure why. So basically, the Tikkun through a group, how working as a group together, it's actually essential for the Tikkun as a collective, and also yeah, as on the personal level. So maybe we'll share a small text also that related to that, additional information. And then you can ask us questions.
Yeah, or we can do also next lesson continue the Tikkun learning, but yeah, we'll also send the text in the group. do you have any questions? Is there anything unclear?
No, I just want to share that I really used the tool that you gave about Shehiyah, suspending, and ask for divine light. And it was really good. Like I felt like it's calm the place that said, I don't know. And then instead I felt like I will know in the right moment. And it helped me with some small decisions, but it was nice to play with it.
Beautiful. I feel like it's really like a communication. You ask and the light answers in mysterious ways, in beautiful ways, but there's always an answer.
Yeah. For example, after the class, I had a schedule problems. The truck. So I decided, okay, I'll do what works for me.
Genius.
It was nice, yeah.
Yeah, I love when it happens. It's like a song in the radio. It's all this little things that if you pay attention, you understand. Okay, this is what.
Yeah, and it's happened when you open something in yourself, like you're not.
Yeah, it's true. And I also like the example of the light is playing like soccer with you. Like you throw the ball, not soccer, but playing with the ball. You throw the ball to the light and the light throws back to you. It's like this dynamic. There's also a sentence that you make one step towards the light and then the light walks 2 steps towards you. But there's always needs to be like that. It's basically prayer.
Yeah, we will have a whole session about that belief. I think it's number 7 or in 2 sessions or something.
Yeah.
Faith and what it means and the communication with the light. Anyway, thank you for sharing a beautiful session and feedbacks. And yeah, I need to go. So sorry.
Thank you,
I'm in a
guys.
rush.
Thank you, Dor.
Thanks, Dor.
You know.